Very Reverend Father, Rector, respected professors, dear brothers and sisters. It is with a heart full of joy and gratitude that I am standing in front of you. I cannot stand here without remembering 4 years of my priestly formation in this sacred place, which molded me to be a missionary priest. I take this opportunity to thank Ruhalaya in a very special way for the crucial role that Ruhalaya played in my personal formation. I also thank respected professors who toiled hard to mold me and other brothers for the service of the church. What you are doing is a great job. Often, the work of a formatter is not remembered. Often it is a thankless job. But they take great pride in that and they do it with great commitment. So I remember all the professors and formators for their great service to all of us and to the church in general. Now I would like to enter into the topic of today's discussion. I have divided this session into different steps. First, I would like to speak about the missionary mandate itself. Then I would like to speak about 7 principles of evangelization. Then I would like to speak about possible methods of evangelization. Then I will share something that we have been doing in our diocese in the field of evangelization. Finally, I will leave a few minutes for your questions and clarifications. So I would like to start with the missionary mandate itself. Gospel of St. Mark chapter 16 verse 15. Gospel of St. Mark chapter 16 verse 15. I would like to read it for you. And he said to them, "Go into all the world and proclaim the good news to the whole creation." In other Gospels as well, we can see the same missionary mandate. But here, it is more precise, more clear. So, I would like to focus on this particular verse. Go into all the world and preach good news to the whole creation. I would like to say, this is the most important commandment of Jesus. Jesus has taught many things. He has given many commandments to the world or to his disciples. Among all his commandments, among all his teachings, this particular commandment deserves the most importance. This is the most important commandment. Perhaps you may wonder why I say that this is the most important commandment. You may think, what about the commandment of love? What about the commandment of forgiveness? Jesus is usually known for the things which others have never said. Jesus taught something which others could not even imagine. All those commandments are important. All those teachings are unique. However, this is the most important commandment. I have 2 reasons to substantiate this argument. First of all, the context in which this commandment is very crucial. When did Jesus give this commandment to his disciples? After his resurrection, before going back to the Father. So he spoke these words. After that, he was taken to the right hand of the Father. This conversation ends in verse 18. Conversation is starting in verse 15 and it ends in verse 18. We read in verse 19 like this. So then the Lord Jesus after he had spoken to them, was taken up into heaven and sat down at the right hand of God. That means these are the final words of Jesus on the earth. After he gave this commandment, he has not spoken anything. Final words, last words on the earth. Then he was taken into heaven. In our words, we can say, this is the last will of Jesus. This is the last will of Jesus. We attach great importance to the last will of our parents, of our national leaders, or our founders. Why do we attach such a great importance to the last wish of a person? When a person is about to die, he communicates to his disciples, to his children or followers, the thing which is very important for that person. For example, suppose a mother is going to die. She understood that she is about to die. And she called all her children. And she is speaking to them. She knows pretty well that she is going to talk to them for the last time on the earth. What all things could she perhaps tell them? Will she tell them to take care of the chicken in the poultry farm? Will she ask them to take care of the garden? No, because these are ordinary things. What would she perhaps tell them? She will remind them of the persons and families who helped them. Perhaps that mother may say, dear children, don't forget that family who helped us in our crisis. Don't forget this person who helped us in our difficult moments. Don't forget God. Go to church every day. So these would be the things that a mother would tell her children at the time of her death as the last wish. So last wish is very important to that person. That is why we consider the last wish as very important. I have heard some people saying, this is the last will of my mother, so at any cost I will do. Just before my father died, he told me like this, so I have to do it at any cost. So we are in general so much passionate to accomplish the last wish of our parents, leaders, or founders. Now, how passionate are we to accomplish the last desire of Jesus Christ himself? What is his last desire? You go into all the world and proclaim good news to the whole creation. What was his intention? Though he did not speak so elaborately, what was his intention? He was trying to say, I am going back. I have fulfilled my salvific action on the earth. My ministry is over. I am going back. But you have to continue my work. This is my last will. This is what you have to do after my departure. So we need to give great importance to this missionary mandate because it is his last will. Secondly, what is after all good news? Good news is the summary of all the commandments. Jesus says, you go and proclaim good news. And what is this good news? This good news is the summary of all the commandments. If we preach good news, the commandment of love is included. If we preach good news, the commandment of forgiveness is already there. In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 28, verse 20, Jesus makes it clearer. He says, teach them all what I commanded you. You teach them all what I taught you. That is proclamation. That is evangelization. That is preaching good news. So when you preach good news, all the commandments are included. For this reason also, we can say that this missionary mandate is the most important commandment. So missionary mandate has to be respected just as Jesus intended. We should never dilute this mandate, saying excuses. Missionary mandate should be respected just as Jesus wanted us to do. This is my first point.